Okay, here we are, another episode of Behind the Scenes at Pleasant Grove High School. Today I am here with Miss Skipper Coates, who is an amazing science teacher here at the high school. We have an exciting topic today. We're going to talk about what parents can do to help their students stay on track and what to do when students fall off track. So
Perfect.
we're excited to talk about it. Before we start, Skipper, why don't you take a few minutes? I didn't warn you about this. But take a few minutes and introduce yourself to us, maybe
Sure.
30 seconds or so. You know, your background, how long you've
Yes.
taught, how long you've taught at PG, and a
Yes.
little bit about you.
This is my 18th year teaching, and it feels like not that long actually. But I was a biology major, and started teaching up in Canyons District. I did a lot of junior high stuff. And then when the time came to move down to Alpine, I jumped at that chance and have taught earth science, 7th grade, 8th grade, biology, and currently teaching physics and astronomy. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
And she does a wonderful job. So
Thank you.
very
That's
good
nice.
feedback from our students, and the students succeed in her class. And you're also an instructional coach
Yes.
here at the school as well.
Yes.
So
I am. I work with teachers on goals that they want to see and improve upon. But I'm also a mom of PG students.
that's
So-
that's the big one.
Yeah, that's the most important one,
Yeah.
I guess.
And with the mentoring thing, you also work with new teachers a lot. So
Yes.
if a new teacher shows up at the school to teach, then Skipper is one of their first resources and their best resources that we send them to kind of show them the ropes. And so do a lot of work with our new teachers and help out with them. So you know what you're talking about. You are an expert in the area.
I don't know if I'd say expert, but if I don't know an answer, I can find an
There
answer.
you go. I love it. Okay. Well, we want to talk today about, from a parent's perspective, what you can do when you notice that your students' grades start to slip. I'm a parent of, my youngest is a 10th grader. You're a parent. Your oldest just graduated.
He did.
And your youngest.
He's a 6th grader, but
Sixth
I have
grader.
a 10th grader
Okay.
here as well.
So we have a perspective of parents
Yes.
and also being here at the school. So maybe some insights that we have will be helpful to some parents who might be thinking, what can I do to help my students when they start to struggle? This is a complicated question because, as we know, every student is so different. And so why a student might be struggling is as unique as there are, students here at the school. And so these are just some general tips that we think would be helpful for parents to understand and maybe see the school and teachers' perspective on some things that you might be able to do to help. So let's just start, and you're going to give the teacher perspective, and I'll give the kind of the admin whole school perspective. So Skipper, you have students in your class and a student's starting to fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to parents on how they can be aware of when their student starts to fall behind? So I know as a parent sometimes, it'll kind of catch me off guard. Or I'll look at my kids' grades and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a D in this class. What happened?
Yeah.
So what do you recommend for parents to stay up to date so they're aware when something like that is happening?
I would say the majority of teachers, it's a general expectation that Skyward is being updated at least once a week. And logging in and checking that several times a week is a really good idea. And on the flip side, if you're logging into Skyward and you're not seeing anything, maybe there are no grades posted yet, or there haven't been any changes to a grade in a week or two, reach out to a teacher. But Skyward can be used as a communication tool. That's really helpful. I think between parents and teachers and students, all three parties can see what's going on.
Yeah. So let's hold on to that communication, because I want to talk a lot about that in a bit. So I want to not leave that.
Okay.
I want to come to that for sure. I think so what would you say to, and I'm a parent, so I can claim this as a flaw of mine, but like for me, sometimes as a parent, it's hard for me to stay on top of things. And so like I said, it might go 3 or 4 weeks, and then I check a grade, and all of a sudden, wow, there's like 3 or 4 missing assignments.
Yeah.
And my kids, this is make believe. My kids would not do this, right?
Oh, my kids would.
I don't. My kids
They
think
would
I'm
do
throwing
it.
them under the bus, but But what would you say to a parent to
Yeah.
be aware of that before it becomes a problem, I guess?
No, that's good. I think one thing we try to do at our house, and I don't know that it's the right answer for everyone, but if my daughter, my 10th grader, comes home from school and says, I don't have any homework, that could be true. I mean, a lot of teachers are moving toward homework being an extension type activity, or somewhere to go deeper into content, not necessarily a requirement the way that it used to be. But in the case that she's saying to us at home, I don't have any homework, then we kind of probe a little deeper. Well, what is it you're learning about? When's your next quiz? Are there any projects coming up? And they get a little annoyed, right? The kids get a little annoyed with those questions, but sometimes that triggers them to say, at least at our house, oh yeah, I do have a quiz in math next time. And then that then turns into, well, then you do have homework because homework is studying for the quiz. So
Yeah,
that's one piece of
that's
advice.
good. I love that. One thing that has helped me as a parent is if the routine is easy, then it happens. And so for me as a parent, checking Skyward, we have the luxury of working in the school, so we're at Skyward all the time. So it's easy for me because I'm always in Skyward and I'm familiar with it to check my students' grade. One recommendation I would have for parents would be put Skyward somewhere where you see it, like on your, whether it's on your home screen, on your phone, or somewhere where you can just easily click and check and see if your student has any missing assignments. And so the first thing I would always look for is missing assignments, because those are things that students should be able to control, is when they turn assignment in. So that's like a 0 in an assignment, that's a red flag, and that would mean talk to your student and find out why they have missing assignments.
Yes.
And the obstacle I have perceived with some parents is that if you have to remember how to get to Skyward, or if you have to, think of it without being reminded of it, it's easy to forget. But if something with Skyward is like right there, so you're checking it quickly and it's easy to see, like on your phone, I think you're more likely to check and see what your kids, because it really takes 2 minutes, to get in and check the grades. And so it doesn't have to be an overwhelming task for parents, but just being familiar with how to check and find out.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add that to my home screen. I've never even thought of it.
It's like putting it on the counter. If it's on the counter, you'll think of it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's say you're a parent and you notice that you have 4 missing assignments in a row. If you're a teacher, what would you hope that a parent would do to support that student who has the 4 missing assignments in a row?
I think high school is a tricky age because there is an old school philosophy that these kids, it's time to learn responsibility, and this is the right time for them to just manage all of this on their own, but they're still very much underdeveloped in their frontal lobe. And so executive tasks, the idea of like making that list myself, it's not what they want to spend their time doing. I've found a lot of success when a parent will actually write out the missing assignment list on a piece of paper or post-it, and then the student can come to me with it. And I mean, I can look up the missing assignments just as easily, but when I see that someone's written it down at home, I know that it's a priority for the parent, which makes it a priority for the student, which makes me want to help even more. You need a second copy of that? Let me get that for you. Do you want to stay after school today? I'll help you with that assignment. But that's like a small, easy thing a parent can do before they jump straight to emailing in a way that sometimes feels not as easy to respond to.
So let's jump now to the communication. So you brought it up before. So I think it would be interesting for parents to hear a teacher's perspective on communication with parents and emails, and what the best way is for teachers and parents to work together.
I love that question.
Because to be honest, sometimes it does feel like both teacher and parent have the same goal, which is the student succeeding in the class. but because there's not always that ease in communication,
Yes.
that goal gets kind of lost in the shuffle with the communication.
You lose the inflection and the smiles and the body language when it's an email. And
so what's the best way if a parent in your class,
yeah,
student has missed 3 assignments or 4 assignments in a row, and a parent wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for a parent to do that?
I love parent emails, and I think the approach that puts me at the most ease and lets me know the parent is on my side is something along the lines of, hey, I was just in Skyward and I saw that Tilly, that's my daughter, I saw that Tilly is missing 4 math assignments. She would never do that, but she would do that. I looked through her binder with her and I can see 2 of them aren't finished. Is that something you'll still accept? Or something along the lines of, I noticed 3 assignments are missing. Is there a place we can get another copy of those? I always think that's a good place to start, because teachers and parents really are on the same team. And the vast majority of teachers I've worked with in the past, they want what's best for kids, and they can tell you the answer to those questions if you ask.
Yeah, I think that the parent, as from my observation as an administrator, a lot of times the parent-teacher communication can be challenging sometimes, to be honest. From a teacher's perspective, you have 200 students that you're working with, right? And so you are trying to manage all of those. From a parent's perspective, your one student is like this is your child, right?
Yes,
and I know
absolutely.
how as parents,
Yep.
this is my baby. This is, number one for me. And so sometimes I think when there's a lack of communication, there are assumptions that are made that maybe place some of the responsibility elsewhere besides on the student. And students have a way of making up excuses for not getting stuff done. I know we're all like that. I think that's human nature,
do
right?
at home.
And so a lot of times when there's things aren't going right in the class, there's not a full picture that we get from our child or from a student.
Yeah, and I don't think it's on purpose even.
Yeah,
I think they really genuinely sometimes hear words that were never said, or they're misinterpreting tone. And I really don't think it's something any student is purposefully doing.
Yeah. A lot of times I think the email from, and I think it goes both ways with parents and teachers, is that I guess would be what I would say is that if the approach is we are on the same page to try to help this young person to have success in the class, and we want to find out why those assignments are missing or why we haven't been doing so well on tests, and talk about a solution rather than making assumptions as to why it's not happening.
Yeah.
And it's not really a blame game, but it's more of a what do we need to fix and work together. And sometimes, to be honest, it's an adjustment that a teacher needs to make.
Yes,
right? So
no,
sometimes
that's true.
that communication is helpful for the teachers to be aware of some situations with the students and adjust. And then sometimes it's an adjustment that the student needs to make.
I've had plenty of, in 18 years, I guess handfuls of times where a parent has pointed out just an area where I could have been more clear or a better way to communicate. And it did help me become a better communicator and a better teacher.
Yeah, and the key is if both the parent and the teacher take the approach of we're in this for the student.
That mutual respect
that goes a long
is
way,
amazing.
So. Okay, so your student is struggling. You've talked to the teacher, you've maybe gotten some information on what you can do to help. Our next question, I guess, is what resources does the school have to be able to help the student? So whether a student or a parent has contacted you and said, I'm behind, I'm trying to get caught up, what can I do to get caught up? What is your answer?
My first answer would always be battle hour. We have that built-in flex time during the day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, even Wednesdays, right after school. And teachers are available for that 30-minute chunk of time. And when kids come in and have something they need to work on, at least in my class, it almost never takes the whole 30 minutes anyway. But it's super helpful to have that teacher available to you. And I also don't know a single teacher, if a parent or student were to email and say, battle hour's not going to work, I've been sick for 3 days and I'm already going to math or English, are you here after school? I don't know a single teacher who would say, sorry, I just won't make time to help you.
Yeah. The teachers want the students to succeed.
Yes, it's our greatest joy.
So we're going to back up and pause for a minute. Battle hour. So let us give you an explanation as to what battle hour is. We throw around that term battle hour. I always wonder sometimes how much parents understand how battle hour works and what it is. So let me start, and you can fill it in from a teacher's perspective.
Go ahead.
So third period ends before lunch and battle hour. Fourth period starts an hour and 10 minutes later. So there's an hour and 10 minutes from the end of third period to the beginning of fourth period. 30 of those minutes are intended to be for lunch, and the other 30 of those minutes are intended to be an opportunity for students to go to their teachers in their classrooms, and teachers are available specifically to help the students get caught up on assignments, rework tests, take tests, or anything that they need to do in order to get their grade up. So the nice thing about that is we have time built into the day so that a student doesn't have to come early or stay late to get extra help from the teacher. It's built in. They still get their 30-minute lunch, but they can go get help from the teacher during the other 30 minutes. And half of our teachers, we call it first battle, half of the teachers that are available the first half hour of that hour between classes, and the other half of the teachers are available that second half hour. So teachers have signs on the doors that say first battle, second battle. So if a student, really you could go to two teachers if they don't have the same half hour segment available. Did I do okay? I don't know. Does that make sense?
I was going to mention the signs on everyone's doors.
Yeah, so you're a teacher. Which battle do you have?
I'm supposed to have first battle hour on both A and B days, but with a child here in the school, she's always in my room, so I'm always in my room. That's not the case for everyone.
You're double duty.
Yes.
But if you were to, so you have first battle.
But I make sure I'm in the room for first battle.
A teacher who has first battle would be available the first half hour of that hour-long period after third period. Mm-hmm. We don't say an hour-long lunch because we don't want students to think it's an hour-long lunch. It's a half-hour lunch and a half hour to go get help from students.
Yes.
So you're available that first half hour for students to come in and get help.
Yes, they'd retake quizzes. Sometimes they just don't understand what we've just done. In our physics class, we're finally getting around to doing a whole lot of math, and some of the kids just need a little more time, or they need it rephrased or said another way, or they need an extra resource. And so that's what that battle hour is for. It's for a little more targeted instruction that's tailor built for individuals or small groups.
Yeah. So if you had second battle hour, then you would take your lunch.
Yes.
The teacher would take their lunch the first half hour and then be available to students that second half hour, basically between 12:30 and 1 o'clock to students.
And there are even bells.
Mm-hmm.
We even
ring
have
a bell
to split
separate those.
the hour.
Yeah. So we do get a lot of students who end up thinking, I have an hour lunch, and parents sometimes get that message too, that there's an hour lunch, but really we have a half hour lunch and then 30 minutes for a student to go get caught up in class.
Yes.
So as an administrator, and teachers I think say the same thing, if you're falling behind in class, first thing, are you going to battle hour? Mm-hmm. Like if you've missed assignments or if you've been absent and missed out on some learning, get to battle hour, get caught up on that as quick as you can. And if students say, I'm struggling in the class, I don't know what to do, if they're not going to battle hour, that's the first thing that a student can do.
Yeah. So, my husband's a therapist, and I know this will relate, I promise. But I remember several years ago, he told me, I don't know if you understand what I do. You should make an appointment with the therapist, and you should go see what it is that I do for a living from the other side. And I kind of resisted, but I finally made an appointment. And I will tell you, showing up somewhere and admitting that maybe you need some help or need to talk to someone or ask some hard questions, that's really scary. And I think our kids feel that way sometimes, and they get in their own heads. But if they understood how willing we are to help them during battle hour, I think a lot would change for them.
Yeah. And my own daughters, I hate to talk too much about my kids. I don't want to throw them under the bus. So hopefully they'll never watch this, so they won't know. But with my own daughters, they say, well, I don't want to go because then I lose my lunch. And so as a parent, sometimes, we just have to say, well, that's not the case. You got to go. You're going to go, you're going to get help in battle hour, and you still get 30 minutes for lunch. That's how it's always been. And so there's a point, even for me, where I've had to say to my kids, nope, you are required to go to battle hour right now.
Same.
So, okay, we've talked enough about battle hour, I think. Yes. So let's see. Gosh, have we missed anything, Skipper, that we wanted to bring up about what we could do to support parents who are supporting their students
I don't know.
Class?
I love my relationships that I build with parents. I actually really value those because when we work as a team, I have seen kids who absolutely believed that they were bad at science or they hated science, and when I've worked with a parent and we've worked together as a team, that can change. A student can feel success, and sometimes that it doesn't always mean an A, but it might mean that a B- is the greatest accomplishment ever, and it's really nice to be able to do that. And so if you're a parent and you're watching this, be on our team, reach out to us, because that's the greatest gift you can give your student. It really is.
I wonder, I wish we had a parent here to ask, but I wonder if there's sometimes some like a intimidation, like worried to work, like nervous to work out to teachers or reach out to teachers, or just kind of nervous to open that line of communication for one reason or the other. But don't be nervous if you're a parent. Like we're the teachers, we're parents too. Nice. We're just people, and so reach out, be on the same page, and sometimes an email comes to a teacher that can be a little bit harsh from a parent, and and accusing sometimes.
Yes.
So I would encourage any emails, lead with, we're on the same page. What can we do to, what can, as a parent, what can we do to work together? And we do get some emails from parents that are pretty intense and, kind of go on the attack. And a lot of times when that happens, we just have to communicate and everything. In fact, I've seen a lot of teacher-parent relationships that started rocky because of that one way or the other from teacher or parent, but that turned out to be very positive and actually rewarding, like you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just be on the same page when we reach out to each other, both sides. So, okay, wow, I feel like there's more that we could say, but I also feel like
I feel like I could talk about my own kids
talked
a lot
for a while. So, that's what we got. So help your kids, support your kids, work together with the teachers. We want 4.0s, but less than 4.0s are okay too, as long as the kids are trying their best. And as a parent, stay on top of them, watch for those missing assignments.
Absolutely.
Skipper, thanks for
doing
this. It takes a little courage. you're gonna now. You got many more to come, probably, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay. All right. Well, we'll see you next time on Behind the Scenes at Pleasant Grove High School.